Let's get started. Hi guys, welcome and welcome back to my channel. Today I want to show you all how I've been keeping track of what I'm spending and just the overall budget of my wedding. So you can do this in Google Sheets or Excel. I'll be doing it in Google Sheets. I know WeddingWire and other websites do have programs where you can plug in what your budget is and what you're spending, but I just thought this was easier for me to follow, easier for me to put together. So this is how I decided to do it, and I hope that you find it helpful as well. So without further ado, I'll go ahead and get Google Sheets open so we can get started.
Okay, so the first thing you want to do is make sure that column A is populated with everything you plan to purchase or spend money on. And then at the bottom have grand total, wedding savings, and amount needed. Now you can see in the calculator, I was actually calculating how many people I estimate to attend. So I took the amount of invites I am sending out and multiplied that by 85%, which is the average percent of people that usually attend local weddings. Now to calculate the subtotal for reception venue, I am doing an equation which is equals parentheses the amount of the dish that I'm being charged for times the amount of people that I think will actually ask for that dish, parentheses, plus parentheses the cost of a second dish times the amount of people that I think will ask for that dish. Now looking at fees, I'm taking that subtotal, so equals, and then clicking that cell and then hitting times 0.22, which is the fee rate. And then for taxes, hitting equals, parentheses, selecting the fee plus the subtotal, close the parentheses, times the tax rate, which is 0.09. And then I'm hitting enter and going to total, which is equals the taxes plus fees plus subtotal, enter. And I'm going to do the same thing for the ceremony, but this time I'm actually going to take the fee cell, so the corner of it, and I'm going to drag it down. Then for taxes, I'm going to take the corner of it and drag it down. And then for total, I can actually drag this all the way down to entertainment. So what this does is just copies the equation that I entered all the way down so it applies to each of these rows. And I don't want to put anything or drag anything down to venue cost because that will just duplicate what I'm doing. So I'm marking that off by coloring it or filling in the cells with red. So now for dresses, I am going to taxes first and hitting equals the fee cell plus subtotal in parentheses, and then multiplying that by the tax rate, which is 0.07, because it's a little lower when I'm actually making other purchases outside of the reception venue and the ceremony venue. So now I'm taking that and I'm pulling it down, dragging it to entertainment so it copies for taxes for everything else. And now I can just enter the subtotal amount for everything in column B, and it already will populate the taxes and the total for me automatically. And the numbers that I'm entering into column B, some of them are exact numbers, some of them could be estimates, and then once I do have that exact number, then I'm just throwing that in there and then everything calculates for me. So it just keeps everything easy and I'm able to quickly and easily manipulate things so that I can constantly keep track of what that grand total estimate is and the amount of money that I need to continue to save in order to pay the wedding off. So now I'm at save the dates, which I'm doing a little differently. So I did the equation equals parentheses 125, which is the amount of save the dates I plan to purchase, times $1.48, which is how much they cost. And then I am doing the same thing for invites, and everything again is calculated on the taxes and totaling side for those two things as well. And then I'm going to do the same thing that I was doing before with just entering a subtotal amount for entertainment. And then if you aren't going to be charged taxes for some of these things, you can go in to the tax cell for that individual row and just delete it, and then everything is calculated on the total side for you with that also. And then here for rehearsal dinner, I'm estimating that there may be a fee cost, so I just entered a fee cost there, and then the taxes and the total both updated for me. So the one cost that I really wanted to keep my eye on was the total venue cost. So that's why I have this extra row here in red. So I'm just going to do an equation equals the subtotal for the reception venue. So sum parentheses, select reception venue, subtotal, and then drag that down to ceremony venue and in parentheses, and then I can just take the cell like I did before and this time drag it horizontally so that everything is copied equation wise from what I did above, and then doing the same thing for grand total, but for this one I am taking all the way from reception venue to entertainment to get that cost. So I'm leaving the venue cost row out so it's not duplicated. And I'm going to save the wedding savings and amount needed rows for last. So going back up to the remaining due, I am just doing total minus amount paid. So now I'm dragging that cell all the way down to grand total. So the equation is copied all the way through, and just correcting what I messed up there. So now I can go to amount paid and grand total. And for that equation, I'm doing equal sum parentheses from reception venue all the way down to entertainment. So now whenever I am paying for something, I can enter the amount that I paid and it automatically subtracts that from the remaining due for each item that I have listed. And then also that automatically changes the grand total remaining due so I can see the full amount that I still have to pay for the wedding. And I originally did not have these two columns on here, but since I've added it, it has been so helpful. So now I'm going into the wedding savings row. And what I do here is under remaining due, I always add whatever I have in my savings account that goes towards the wedding. So I can keep track then of amount needed, which will be the equation equals grand total remaining due minus wedding savings remaining due. So then that tells me how much more I still need to save and pay. So then I just am highlighting the key numbers that I want to always be able to quickly see, which is the amount needed, the grand total needed, and then the grand total in general. And this is all that I do to keep track of everything that I'm spending and to stay on top of my finances while I am planning my wedding.
Thanks so much for watching the video. I hope that you found this helpful. If you did, please don't forget to give me a thumbs up. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Thanks again for watching, and as always, I will see you next time.